I also felt a distinct feeling of fluid running down my leg, beginning in an unwelcome area. No. How are snipers? Welcome back to Not For Radio. Good to have you with us. We are your hosts. I'm Duncan Hyde. This is Jay Reeve right over there.
Yes.
And we've got an absolute belter for you today. We've got a couple of war stories, real good ones.
Yeah.
And then we're going to learn something at the end of today's podcast with the show sponsor, Binance.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. We had a great chat with Jamesy Boy, and that's the first of many, hopefully, that we have with the team at Binance, because we've got a lot of questions. And to that fact, I would love to encourage people to actually message us with any questions that we could throw their way, because we aren't the experts. I mean, that is fucking abundantly clear. But if you have got any questions in and around that crypto space and Binance in general, fire them our way so that we can pass them on and get those answers for you.
There's a code as well. If you want to sign up to Binance, you can use Not For Radio as your code when you sign up. Also as well, we are on YouTube, and if you do want to support us, the best way to do that, because we don't want to change the content we do, is to jump on board and become Sniper Elite. There is quite a few absolute weapons that have jumped on for Sniper Elite that will unlock a couple of hundred extra episodes and give you 2 extra episodes a week. One earlier this week that was unreal, with a bloke that did 15 armed robberies while in the feeder side, like the under-19s, for the WARs, the Warriors, the New Zealand League team we all love and support.
Yeah, it's a lot of impressive chats in there as well. But to start things off, today's one, a bit of creative writing and my son recalling a core memory for him. What a weekend. I think you'll agree. What we can't show you is the actual video, because that would probably cause us, even a Not For Radio, to fucking lose our jobs.
Yeah, there's a little bit of debate in and around that, but it's a great podcast nonetheless, and you'll find out why Brian has 2 bumholes and
what
20 brothers and sisters.
And what not to put on an exhaust burn as a dressing.
Enjoy the podcast.
Hello there, this is Agatha Higginsbottom, and you're listening to Not For Radio with Jay and Dunc, you fucking legends. Up the wide.
Okay, so fucking never got this. This absolutely buckled both myself and my wife. So there's a writing exercise that my kids are doing at the moment. It was basically, I didn't even know this. We had to basically comment on this, provide feedback to the teacher and to our sons on this writing exercise that they're doing. And this is awesome because it was about a weekend that we had away, and so this is my young son Oski, and you'll recall this because I was like reading it, and because Anna, my wife, was in fucking tears reading it, and she didn't even know the funniest bit, so it really leveled up. But allow me to indulge you in some of my son's writing. And bearing in mind, he's massively dyslexic, so it kind of reads like Old MacDonald had a farm, I-O-E-O-I. Oscar's weekend away. When I woke up, I got ready to go to the beach. I packed a bag after Hunter and Mum left home. Dad and I waited a bit before we went to Dad's work. When we arrived, we put down our bags and went to the courtyard. I introduced myself and met the butchers who were at Dad's work and started filming. I saw my dad sharpening knives, then the butchers started to show me how to cut lamb, pork and heart. I learned how to tie them to pack them for storage. They cooked some sausages and hearts for us to eat. I like the sausages the best. After that, I waited 5 grueling hours at my dad's work while he was doing voiceovers. I spent most of that time bottle flipping with a fake arm.
Has he just seen this? It's got sent home from school.
So when Dad was finished, we went out for lunch, ate ramen. It was very yummy. We drove home, got ready for the Shehad concert. Went to the concert, and I could only stand for about 30 minutes because it was so loud, very heavy metal. After the concert, we went to Waihi Beach for the weekend. We got to Waihi around midnight. I was very tired, went to sleep. Saturday morning, set up the sauna to use. After the sauna, we went to JK's house for an ice bath. Then went for a surf. The waves were absolutely pumping. I used one of JK's old boards to surf. It was fun. I absolutely loved it. What I learned from the whole experience was how to surf better and that I don't like loud music. So, you've seen the bottle flipping fake arm thing? You've seen it, eh?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Anna hadn't. So I showed Anna, and she fucking absolutely. Should we play it just to remind ourselves of how great it is?
You can imagine what a rubber arm looks like to the elbow, but instead of an elbow, it's got a suction cup.
And then to provide a little bit more reference, we got sent all these sex toys, and that was one of them. And so it was just basically doing the rounds.
Is that ours?
That's the Rocks, isn't it? Whose was it?
It was from another station.
Ah, okay.
It's made its way to the
What's another station? Let's fucking put a little bit of arm's length between us and the said fisting dildo.
I thought that it was from the Edge.
Yes, it's from the Edge.
Technically a handing, not fisting.
Yeah, but that is how you fist somebody. That is the technical way in how you do it.
Okay,
I read
a book on it.
I have.
How many chapters was it?
So this is the first. So to tie the whole thing back, we're heading this weekend to Lake Harwell Station. And this is like, once again, stick with me for the whole story. Don't take bits of this. When I first moved to Auckland, a girl that I was dating at the time was working at 42 Below with Jeff Ross, who is now the owner of Lake Harwell Station. And so I turned up and they're like, you can sit at this table over here. It was a fucking ragtag bunch of human beings. The person who was in charge of inducting me into the workplace was Scotty, who's fucking Shelton's cousin, covered from fucking head to toe tattoos. And he goes, yeah, Billy, here's the Billy induction book there, mate. And fucking tossed me this thing. It was like the 101 on how to fist someone. And I looked at him and was like, classic. And he goes, what are you fucking laughing for? Read it cover to cover. You're not going anywhere until you read that cover to cover. And me not knowing anything, being fresh to the city, I was like, holy shit. So I learnt how to do it. It's a lot trickier than you would think.
Why? Okay.
Yeah. So there you have it. Full circle.
I love it how that got sent home from school.
Well, no, but the teacher is completely oblivious to what it is.
I know.
And I would never have even known that he spoke about that day. It's fucking, I was in tears. Anna fell over laughing. Like I've never.
It was 4 hours of him just out there flipping it and trying to get to land.
It wasn't that long. He did it for like 10 minutes.
Longer.
It wasn't that long, I'm sure. Anyway, 5 grueling hours, most of the time flipping a fake arm.
The best.
Can I just play it so you can hear the sound that it makes? Yeah. It's fucking so good.
There's a bit where he gets it in this, and he's quite proud of himself.
Oh, fuck, is it what? Oh, come on, play, you fuck. What's it playing through? Why are you not being noisy? Oh, you fuck.
Jay does technology. The new segment. Technology.
Here we go. The sound that it makes. And then he kicks it. Oh shit. It's fucking one of the greatest things ever. So we've got this file called 21st, and we basically put all this shit into it that's going to be played out at their 21st. So he will have no idea this even. I don't think he'll remember it happening. But we'll read that story. It might twig a few things in his mind, but he still won't put 2 and 2 together. At fucking 21, he'll know exactly what that is.
Hit play on the hologram. Okay, let's do a war story.
Reload and focus. Another war story inbound.
I'll go first today, eh?
Yes.
This from Brian Howald from Missouri.
Sick, man. I love the fact that there is more and more people from different parts of the world jumping on board with this. This is great stuff. Appreciate every single motherfucking one of yous.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know. Like I kind of thought this podcast would never go well in the States, but there seems to be a lot of people listening in the States.
I don't think it would go well. Full stop.
Well, do you know what? The numbers in the States have been coming up since we stopped saying the C-bomb.
Okay, we'll steer clear of that then.
At age 13, I was about to go squirrel hunting with my brothers and their friends, so I jumped down from the tree I was climbing in our yard in rural Missouri, a town of 600. I stumbled backwards to fall on one of those old pedal-powered tractors we all had back in the 70s and 80s. I'd always been accident-prone, and between motorbikes, military service, dangerous jobs, hobbies, and the stupidity, I've had some pretty serious injuries. This was one of those moments where there was that pain that wasn't ouch, but the queasy gut, like, oh, oh, I might need to tell Mum kind of injury stuff. I stood up like I was fine and sort of laughed off my fall as the usual pulling a Brian. As I walked away, I glanced back and noticed that where there would normally be a pedal
Fuck.
was simply a 4 or 5 inch slender metal shaft. Where's it gone? I also felt a distinct feeling of fluid running down my leg, beginning in an unwelcome area. No, not unlike the 4th grade when I kept trying to conceive it was only gas if it wasn't. What? Let's move on. Well, I have an enormous family. Story for another time. 9 boys and 12 girls. What the fuck? That is a story for another time, Brian. Tell us that story another time, Brian.
No, whoa, 21 kids.
But I think we had about 13 at that time, and school was starting in about a week, so life was hectic and no one wants to disturb Mum without a real cause. Besides, at 13 and fresh pubes, etc. in the 80s in rural Missouri after Deliverance came out, who wants to reveal they may have just lost their virginity to a pedal tractor to their mother? Well, with so many children, my father built the bathroom sink up higher to make it easier to bathe the babies in. It was clear by the hole in my precious 501s and my fruit of the loins and the non-stop blood flow that things were not good. I could tell by feel that there was an apparent new rectum adjacent to my existing one, much to my redneck relief. However, due to the elevated sink height, I simply could not get a view of things, and I could not go with my plan of gauze and tape. And after trying showering, the blood was not stopping. So finally, I hollered for 15 minutes, begging my mother to come to the bathroom and tried to explain to her that I think I made a new butthole. Of course, she couldn't ask about the situation quietly, so all of my sisters got to hear as well. Then, since my father had our only vehicle at the time, someone was dispatched to the neighbours to drive us to the local doctor for inspection. This is fucked.
That actually makes me feel sick.
Her car was a 79 T-Bird and a 2-door.
Sick.
Did the injured kid with the 5-inch stab wound to the ass sit up front? Of course fucking not. Of course the local doc and his town gossip receptionist got a huge laugh but could give no assistance, so it was a 45-minute journey to the nearest hospital. Once there, this unique injury now became the interest of not only the ER but surgery, any attending surgeons that were there, any students, and since it was in the area it was in, I was suspended over an upended paddle table with my tackle and backside for everyone to see. So it's face down, ass in the air, including everyone in the waiting area as the door swung open and closed. This is a bad day. Now for the fun part. About these wounds is the number of people that need to consult on them. Was the colon damaged, the rectum, the gluteal muscles? How would wound care be managed? So nurses, students, doctors, I'm certain fucking housekeeping was in there as well, had to have the conversation with my mother. So each time, cheeks resprayed, dressings removed, tackle adjusted, occasional erections for a 13-year-old.
Someone touches your bumhole as a 13-year-old, fucking straight bar up.
This went on for hours. A wound like that has to heal from the inside out, so a drain was sewn in place and I was sent home.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Mum then gives me some old school maxi pads to put in my fronts to catch in my pants to catch the fluids. Having no idea how these function, I place them in with the adhesive side up, thinking that they are hospital dressings. Of course, the third one removes the drain stitches. I had no idea gals put the adhesive side down to their pants, so off to hospital, so everyone, including my sisters, gets a share in this hilarious tidbit. By the way, the gluteus maximus is named that for a reason. A wound there is not comfortable. Tylenol does not do much, especially sitting on a sofa, cushion, or in an old Ford van. To top it off, every movement hurts, so I was on light duty, which means... Jesus.
That was me, full noise.
That was very loud. I was on light duty, which meant not chopping wood, but still doing dishes, cleaning, changing diapers, etc. And my 2 insidious next youngest brothers found out that it was hilarious to make fun of me or startle me because it... Hey, you guys, stop. Oh, I just peed a little. Now I've got to change my maxi pad. Thanks, guys. To top it off, the name that they decided to dub me with and let the folks know that I'd be starting junior high with was Pedal Butt. Of course, we couldn't cancel the annual stay at our aunt and uncle's a few hours away for the family reunion just as the school year began, so I at least didn't have my usual seat on the spare tyre on the floor of the van. I got to sit on my sofa pillow on the unsecured seat we had taken from another previous van that had often randomly tipped over if Dad cornered it a little bit too quickly. Needless to say, there were a few bathroom/locker room brawls once I was healed that quickly decided that the name Pedal Butt wouldn't be used, except my daughter, who loves to randomly say, "Dad, tell them about Pedal Butt," to people when we meet. I never quite lived down the maxi pads with my sisters and mum and some friends from school, but I can definitely empathise with women that had to deal with those bulk things. I had taken today's thoughts with wings for sure. I hope you enjoyed this if you saw it. We have seen it. One question I have is, what happened to the pedal?
It would have been off, so it would just been the spike that was the pedal, basically is like the axle in which it spins
That
around.
is a deep wound.
Yeah, fuck, that made me feel sick.
Brian, tell us about how you ended up with that many people in your family. Like, surely that's not the work of one, like, boss mode mum.
Yeah.
The ultimate reproducer, the human rabbit.
If they are all your literal, just the offspring of your mum and your dad combined.
21 kids.
So I was doing the numbers on it, just spitting one out every single year for 21 years.
It's doable, just,
Yeah.
but not likely.
Yeah.
I feel like Dad turned up with 6 or 7, and then Mum and Dad got to work.
Or it might have been me combined, yeah.
Yeah,
6
maybe.
and 6, and then they're like, hey, let's just keep going.
Brian, we
Let's-
want details.
Let's chuck another 10 on top of that.
Yeah.
Far out. That's massive.
Straight into the next one. War story number 2.
Snipers, ready up. It's war story time.
This is from Ali in the Isle of Man under also the category of injury. Team, thanks to my mate Barry. Yes, that's his fucking name. I enjoy your pod on a daily basis.
Good on you, Bezza.
Spanking my way through past episodes and loving the stories, thought I'd share one of my own. I hope you'll like it. I was born and raised on a tiny island in the Irish Sea where the speed limit is whatever the fuck you want it to be, and motorbikes are part of the family. Well, I'm guessing, yeah, Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Being the youngest and only female sibling, I grew up somewhat of a tomboy, and any opportunity to do a lap of the famous course or just shred around the countryside, I was game. In fact, one of my brothers and I had a code at dinner time, which was MB3 or C2, which meant we'd get up at 2 or 3 a.m. and shred around the island on his motorbike or steal mum's car. But that's another story for another day. Yeah. Whenever the sun makes a rare appearance, every man and his dog bears as much skin as they can in the hope that they could look anything other than vampire-esque, and I was no exception. So one sunny day, not necessarily warm, but back in the early 90s, my brother let me take his bike for a spin. And when I rocked up, back outside home, greeted by him and some friends, I couldn't understand why they were looking at me weirdly. I had my top unzipped, tiny top unzipped itself to reveal my extremely athletic chest, pushed together using a super tight Wonder Bra. No. Had my very short split. Also no. As I unclipped my lid, I looked down and I saw my naked calf was now a perfectly seared, fresh, sizzling fillet steak on the exhaust.
How did you not feel that? It must be that hectic.
Where did my teenage brain take me? I found something the size and the shape of the wound, a Wonder Bra push-up pad insert, and stuck it to it, tied it on with a bandana. It actually looked pretty cool until it didn't. A week or so later, said dressings had merged with me and were now part of my leg. My dog also alerted me to the odd colour. Even he fucking knew that probably wasn't the best course of action, so I tried to remove them. Fuck. Did they want to come off? Did they fuck? I held a shower on it for half an hour, but was getting nowhere fast, so Mum told me to pop down to the docs and they'll help. Now, in this surgery, there are 3 doctors. 2 were nice as pie, literally just give you whatever you want. The third, however, massive bellend. Guess which one I got to see that day? That's right, Dr. McChops. I showed him my predicament, and in a heartbeat, he ripped the fucking thing clean off the bastard. I screamed, "Oh, you really fucking loud." And he shouted at me and threw me out in front of the waiting room full of people. He said he wanted my mum to call him as soon as I got home. Since we weren't allowed to swear back then, I was nervous to tell her, but with so many witnesses, I kind of had to. So with tears running down my face and blood and gunk pouring out of my leg, I told her. She did ring him, and I had to pop, and I had a pop at him, the prick. Oh, she did ring him and had a pop at him, the prick. Go on, mum. Keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to stuffing you both into my ears daily. You can call me Ellie because guess what? That's my fucking name.
Outstanding.
Ellie, you're a champion. And I would love to get to Isle of Man. I've spoken about it for years and years and years. I want it to be part of this big northern sojourn that I do. I want to get up there and ride around for a bit. Not necessarily ride in the Isle of Man TT, but get up there and... Because heaps of buddies go up to all the time. There's a massive New Zealand contingent that go up there. There's some incredible New Zealand racers that race there as well. Because it's one of the last great street circuits. We used to have some fucking crackers down here. I don't know if the cemetery circuit in Wanganui is a massive one. Pairoa was another massive one as well. And I think for the most part, both of them are done.
And then the Wellington as well, the street race back in the day.
And I think that the cemetery circuit, from memory, is on like Boxing Day, so it's fucking pretty loose racing.
Oh, man. Jeez, it's been fun. We have a sponsor of the Not For Radio podcast at the moment. You might have seen it on our socials, Binance, Absolute Weapons. And we'll get into everything that Binance does. But basically, if you want to get into crypto, they are who you need to talk to.
It's 120 million, was it?
260.
260?
Yeah. People using it worldwide. The largest in trading volume when it comes to crypto, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, all the questions, we have got James from Binance New Zealand to have a bit of a yarn to. Look, he's looks after Australia as well. We've got lots of questions.
Yeah.
We don't know everything. We don't claim to know everything about crypto.
If we're 100% honest, we know 5/10 of fuck all, which is exactly why we wanted to have a chat to him. It's something that I've had an interest in, I've dabbled in for the last few years, but having spoken to him, the confidence just went through the roof.
Yeah.
And there's some great assets that they've created on their website, which you can go through just to learn a little bit more. Knowledge is power.
Hello, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you are listening to the Jay and Dunc Not For Radio podcast. Get in the chopper.
The Binance app, this is a crazy stat. We've read this out a couple of times now. Is trusted by over 260 million users worldwide. They are the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume. And we've got James from Binance New Zealand finally on the potty. Welcome.
Yes, here it is, the big dog to the hill.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
Fantastic
today.
Absolutely red hot today. Now, I guess probably first things first, there are 260 million people across the globe that know exactly what Binance does. But can you tell us a bit about Binance New Zealand for the uninitiated?
Yeah, for sure. So as you mentioned, we've got over 260 million users worldwide, which makes us the biggest crypto exchange globally by users and by volume. We offer a range of cryptocurrencies from your blue chips like Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as 350 others for users to buy, trade, sell. We've been around since 2017, but we set up shop in New Zealand in 2022. So relatively new.
Yeah.
We're one of the few global exchanges that are registered locally. We're really excited about growing crypto adoption in New Zealand.
So, for the person that's listening to this right now, and they've heard everyone talk about crypto for however many years, has the ship already sailed on it? Like, have they missed the opportunity of crypto? Because it feels like for so long people have been like, get on it, it's going bananas, get on it.
That's a good question. I think with any technology, there's always a question about whether you're too late to the party. But for me, there's just so much more to be built in this area. And I think now's as good a time as any to kind of jump in, do your own research and get involved.
So, if that person that we're talking to right now that's like, okay, cool, let's go. What happens when you jump on the Binance app, and how hard is it to sign up? I've done it, I know it's easy, but like, what's the process in terms of actually getting some cryptocurrency in your wallet?
Yeah, great question. So download the app is probably the easiest way, as you already mentioned. It's pretty intuitive. And then you register. You'd have to do what's known as KYC, you know your customer. So you might have to upload some identification just so we know who you are. And then it's just a case of depositing some Kiwi dollars and choosing which assets to kind of invest in. And the best thing about the app is we've got a whole host of content and educational materials from Binance Academy to help get you up to speed on the different ways of trading, the different assets. I think in crypto, we call it DYOR, do your own research, which is a really important part of any investment decision, especially in crypto and fast moving space like that. So yeah, plenty of resources there to help get you on your way.
With 260 million users, you've got access to quite a lot of data and you've got quite a lot of insights that come back to you. Obviously, you are the platform. There is a product and there are people that are trading across that. What are some of the more interesting insights that you've found in terms of the behaviors of people and how they're getting into it? Are there the Buffett style that just go and hold for ages? I know the term hodl was thrown around for quite some time there. What are the key ones for you, though?
Yeah, it's a good question and really timely, actually. We just ran a survey of our Binance New Zealand users early this year. Over 300 people responded, and it actually revealed some really interesting trends. So, as you kind of mentioned, crypto is probably known as more of a speculative asset, and people kind of historically have been known to kind of jump in and trade on the more speculative side of things. But actually, what our research showed is that there's a lot more people looking at it as a long-term investment, and are looking. Over 60% of our respondents actually said that their primary trading strategy is hodling. So holding on for dear life, as the acronym is known, which means to hold for the long term, right, and ride out any of that volatility, which is really encouraging to see. And even I think it was like close to 1 in 5 people even said that they're thinking about crypto as an option for their retirement planning. So that's really, really long-term planning right there, which just goes to show the maturing nature of this industry and how people are thinking about it as an asset class.
Yeah, I was having a very interesting. This is something that I've been massively interested in for quite some time, and sat there outside the double Dutch lines for a while waiting to jump in. Have eventually jumped in, and basically every single person that I've spoken to since they got in, there is not a single person that has managed to slide out from where they began. So if you jumped in 5 years ago, you're up. If you jumped in 5 days ago, for the most part, you're probably up without checking the market as well. And one of the guys that I was talking to about it, who knows infinitely more about it than I do, he said, don't think of it as a currency. Think about it as land. So they're not building any more coastal property. There's no more beachfront that's going to be available. So your asset will continue to sort of go up. And he said that the main driver in behind that is the external markets, where people like outside of New Zealand can't afford to buy a house, don't have the access to homes, so this is their nest egg. Like in New Zealand, for the most part, we go, we need to get a mortgage, we need to get a house, and that's going to be our retirement fund, and that's how 99.9% of the population operates. But outside of the country, that's not an option. So now these crypto platforms and being able to buy in alternative currencies is what is generating generational wealth for those people.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as you mentioned, crypto is helping to bank the unbanked globally, and we see that in other regions that don't necessarily have access to traditional financial investments like stocks and property, as you mentioned. You know, I've got colleagues in Vietnam, Turkey, Argentina that are seeing huge adoption from users there, and even in New Zealand, in the survey that we ran, over 70% of people think that crypto is the most promising asset for wealth creation, above 12% for stocks and 6% for property. As you mentioned, property's been massive in New Zealand as an investment, but there's just such a barrier to entry, especially for young people nowadays. And so people are looking at alternative investments because they know the power of investing and the power of compounding investing over time. They're just trying to figure out how best to put their money to work, and I think crypto is definitely one of those avenues.
There is something nice too, but with it being decentralized as well, so that you're not feeling like you're just getting shafted every which way that you turn. Like, there's nothing worse than going, jeepers creepers, the interest rate's gone through the roof on my mortgage, and the banks are going, hey, we're looking after you, and then they post like a $6 billion profit, and you're like, how about you look after me a little bit better and yourselves a little bit less? I think that's one of the key drivers is it's not necessarily peer to peer, but there's the amount of volume that is traded and the value is held between people as opposed to massive corporations.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like the main ethos of crypto, right? The decentralized nature, but it's still a growing and relatively new asset class. And so it is subject to that volatility that we've seen historically. And, there's something that we warn people of and encourage them to do their own research about and adopt that long-term mindset because, in the short term, it swings quite a lot and is subject to macroeconomic conditions, as we've seen more recently coming from the States with Trump's tariffs having a knock-on impact, not just on crypto as an asset class, but on stocks in general. And so people have to be aware of that volatility before they jump in. Each asset class is different and presents its own like pros and cons. But yeah, it's just something for people to be aware of.
And one more thing, is there someone that's listening to this right now and goes, okay, so in my head, it's kind of like a bank account, but kind of like a stocks account. I can put money into it. Can you attach some form of a payment card to this so that you can draw down continually on those funds that you have available?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the big areas we're seeing it used more as a currency in payment is in international remittances. So people sending money cross-border, like historically, has incurred massive fees and a massive time delay. But you can send stable coins or crypto cross-border instantly with minimal fees. And I think we're moving towards that point where we're going to be able to use traditional crypto accounts for everyday payments. Again, this is establishing itself as part of the financial infrastructure. I don't think it's going to necessarily overhaul or replace the financial infrastructure. I don't know if I want it to, but I think it's definitely going to play a part, and that means it's going to play a part on payments as well.
Now, apart from the epic merch that you're doing, because we walked in here and got handed like so many different types of merch that you guys are doing, what's something else cool that Binance is doing at the moment?
Great question. So we're always looking to make it as easy as possible for new users to come into the space. And more recently, we've just launched a promotion to offer zero fee for Google Pay and Apple Pay payments on platform to help reduce those barriers and encourage people to kind of get involved. Like I said, I think the best way to learn is by doing. We've got loads of resources on Binance Academy, and hopefully the zero fee offer can help persuade a few more people to try it out.
Well, I've got 11-year-old twin boys, and they are now in an age where they don't really place the same value on having physical assets in their hands. They don't necessarily want to be having massive bank accounts with, they don't walk around with wallets full of cash, mainly because they don't do any work, which is an issue, but I'm working through that myself. But how young would you suggest that people start looking about this? Because if this is the way in which a certain amount of the financial sector is heading, then some financial literacy, which we've been devoid of in this country forever, surely there should be some form of alternative currency, I guess financial advice or literacy that goes with it that we should be instilling in our kids.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, right? I think everyone's starting to understand the value of investing over the long term and how investments can compound, right? And I see it all the time in like younger generations and even kids that are putting away their pocket money, or historically, I used to put away my pocket money, but currency's been devalued, and so kids are smarter nowadays and trying to figure out how to maintain or preserve the value of that. I definitely think that investments, whether it's stocks, property, crypto, is worthwhile, and it's definitely worth getting younger people involved in it. Obviously, starting very, very small. But I think what we'll find is like, and Binance, we're the same. The minimum age is 18 for opening an account. You have to have a bank account. You have to have ID. You have to go through those KYC processes, as I mentioned. But that's not to stop like parents having these conversations with their kids and helping to educate, so that when they are 18 and they do have the ability to manage their own money, then they're well informed and well educated on what opportunities there are and the pros and cons for each of those investments.
Well, that's what it ends up being. So if they're looking over my shoulder for the next 7 years, then they actually get a longitudinal study, and they will be the ones that will be going, Damn, I could have bought it at 90,000. You held me out. Now it's up at 460. Man, I could have made. Those are the punishing conversations that we will have. But nonetheless, punishing conversations I look forward to.
And speaking of punishing conversations, I will probably give you a chance to hang up on us now because I know we're taking up lots of your time. First, I just want to say, congratulations, Binance Australia signing on Jack Robinson, pro surfer, which is pretty epic. I saw that news this morning.
Yeah, we're super psyched. Currently, Liam from the team's up in Gold Coast filming with him yesterday and today after his win last weekend. I know he's competing again this weekend. Yeah, we're really excited to partner with him. He's a legend.
Have to ring the bell, the big man, eh? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and we're really excited to help educate a whole new audience on crypto, and Jack himself is really frothing at the opportunity too.
I don't reckon that there is a bigger community of athletes that has been into crypto for longer than surfers because they spend so much time sitting in cabs, chatting to people at airports. And it's one of those things that you go, if the Uber driver's talking to you about it, then you've obviously missed the boat. But these lads have been, because of the way that they get paid, I know that there's been landmark deals where they've been paid in crypto as part of their contract so that they're not getting these massive tax slaps when they go all over the place. Because most of them spend 9 months on the tour. If you're on the WCT, like Jackie Boy is, then you're on the road a lot of the time. And just the ease and the simplicity of it, being able to be punched around and you being able to service what it is that you need to service. And then he's booking all of his flights, all of that sort of stuff has been through crypto for the longest time. So, yeah, great get. And straight hot on the heels of a win at Bells as well.
Yeah, which is unreal.
Impressive stuff.
Thank you so much.
Worries,
jumped on at the exact right
time,
haven't you? Bloody hell. So, can I just say as well, same for this podcast. You've jumped on at the right time.
We're basically the Jack Robinsons of the podcasting world. You're completely aware of that, except we're massively out of shape and have no talent.
Oh, jeez. All right,
Cheers,
James,
boy.
mate. Appreciate you. And thanks for your support. And hopefully everyone's learned a little bit about crypto, or a lot.
Thanks so much for having me, Duncan and Jay. Really appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing.